They got MC Light under contract. MC Light getting them coins every year from BET.
Every
Oh, she
single
been
year.
getting them for
from
like
that,
at
from that
least like
studio.
8 years. At least some 8 years.
She
Coming
been working from home since 2002. Because they always
second I don't hear her voice, I'm gonna be very upset with BET.
Okay.
The second you hear, it's the 2020 BET Award. You're like, come on, MC Light.
You know.
Hey, Minority Report. It's Tipsy High from London. A London lockdown. Love the show. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. And oh my goodness, what on earth? I mean, a purple hoodie and a blue wrestler mask. I mean, that's the only question I've got.
Black, loud, and proud.
Amanda seals the BET Awards.
And ask your aunties, PDA. So get your cups ready for a MinoriTea Report.
Well, hello, ladies. Haven't seen you in a while.
Hey.
Hello.
And we're back to our regular scheduled programming.
Just
Black.
the three of us.
We're black.
We can make it if we try. Just the three of us.
Hey.
Just the three of us.
But I do want to say thank you again to all of our guests,
Absolutely.
for making our Pride Month, spectacular, and for allowing us to think outside of the box and, make Pride a little bit different, given quarantine and Miss Rona her ass this year. So, and, honestly, I really enjoyed that. And
it was a blast.
Yeah. We're community, we're going to have more guests though. Now that we've kind of gotten to a rhythm and how the three of us mesh with the guest and making the guests feel part of the podcast.
And the technicalities.
Yeah, all that. Every week there was something. There was something every single week.
Girl.
Ooh, shoot. Y'all know community last time it was me. My computer wouldn't start for an hour and a half. And it was hot as fuck. And I was just irritated. And she put on some pounds too. So when you put on some pounds and you hot, you get extra irritable.
Extra. Yeah, it's something. But we worked it through and had some great episodes. Some of those episodes are one of some of my favorite episodes, honestly. So, well, community, hopefully
it was just so nice. It was just so nice having that extra energy and different perspectives. We talk all the time about, our point of view, and we've been promising to the community that we were going to invite some additional people in to share from their perspective. And I think Pride Month was really just the right month for us to be able to do it, given all the stuff that's been going on. It was just the right month to bring those other perspectives in. So it was really nice.
Absolutely. You guys, if you're listening, you're welcome back anytime. And
absolutely.
And like Jarrell said, we have a couple more up our sleeve already. Got some more guests lined up already. So pay attention, subscribe, hit the subscribe button now, hit the bell button, hit the like button. Please subscribe. I see the numbers and people are watching, but they're not subscribing. So I need you to subscribe for me. Thank you. But yeah, it was a blast. I really enjoyed it. But how was your how was Pride for you overall?
It was black.
A little bit last week, but yeah, it was definitely blackity black.
It was blackity black. And I'm okay with it. Amy, but for the community that's been rocking with us from the get-go, y'all heard me last year talk about how Pride is for me. And I'd be like, fuck Pride because they ain't making space for us, et cetera, et cetera. Well, this year they ain't got no motherfucking choice. And I was living for it. I was like, I've been putting y'all on for a minute now. I've been telling y'all, I didn't care about the white gays coming for me. I did not care about the white gays coming for me. And it felt good to finally see them being like, oh, this is an issue. No shit, Sherlock. You know what? I'm just glad you made it. I'm glad you made it.
Welcome to the party.
Right? Okay.
It's been too long. But what are you, I guess this year, what are you proud of for Pride Month? Every year, maybe there's something new growth-wise, or Black Lives Matter, obviously, but it's just is there something this year that you found differently, or it's just you know what, I'm just even more proud of who I am?
I don't know if this can be attributed specifically to pride, because I feel like Miss Rona has a big hand in a lot of the things that's been going on. Right. But you know, I'm proud of the fact that when I look around, I see so many non-Black people standing in, stepping up, and really being allies. And in years past, when we talk about, you know, like Black Lives Matter, Black trans lives matter, Black gay lives matter, like these things, you would see a bunch of Black people screaming, you know, till they got the veins popping out of their necks and out of their foreheads and their eyeballs or whatever. And it's just like falling on deaf ears. And I don't know, you know, like it seems like the universe coalesced to take all these other insignificant distractions and put them to the side and say, I'm gonna sit y'all asses down so that you don't have nothing but no other option but to see the injustices that have happened to these people.
It's like, listen here.
And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the fact that there are so many people, whether, you know, it's fake or not, because you know, there's a whole argument of, you know, whether or not their allyship is real.
Right.
I will take your fake allyship.
Not me.
Right now, it amplifies the voice, and I'm proud that so many people stepped up.
Yeah, maybe it's like a fake it till you make it kind of thing. It's just like after a while, you keep putting that energy out there.
I'm not here for the performative
agenda forward.
Nah, if a bitch can still be a Karen, she got to fucking go. I'm sorry, I don't want you being Felicia one day and then Karen the next day.
Not
you
Felicia.
Need to be look all the way through, okay? Like for real. I get like I understand like the collective voice being part of it, but at the end of the day, is it really doing the work, or is it sweeping it under the rug if people aren't changing from their core? Like it's at the end of the day, it's only changing a moment in time versus history. And that's what I want. I want it to be an overall change from the root, because if the foundation isn't sturdy, I don't care how big the fucking house is, it's gonna cave.
She said that.
You know? I get what you're saying. Saying. I think the dialogue has changed though, because at least for me, it's not about changing people's minds. I'm focused on changing policies. Like I'm focused on the systemic things that keep our people down. I don't give a shit whether you like me or not, or whether you're a Karen or not. But if there's legislation to say that, oh, you can be a Karen, but when your Karen starts Karening on me, now we're going to have legislation like the bill, like the policy that Governor Cuomo has passed that says, I'm putting legislation that if you call the cops on a Black person for no damn reason, they get to sue you. That's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. So I don't care how you.
It goes hands in hand though, because I mean, as long as there's Karens out there, there's going to be people on the opposing side trying to make laws to undo that stuff. Just like how a couple weeks ago it made what was the LGBT rights that the Supreme Court passed a couple weeks ago?
You can't get fired at work.
Yeah, you can't get fired at work. Yeah, for discrimination. Like, it doesn't matter if the legislation, I mean, it does matter for legislation changing, but if you still have people out there that want the harm to be done, you're going to always have that uphill battle. So if we can focus on getting the people to change, then the legislation has no choice but also to change too, you know? And so I don't think one can exist without the other. I don't think we can have Karens if we don't have the legislation. And I don't think we can have the legislation if we're not correcting the Karens. Like both of them, I think has to exist and have to be fought in order for us to truly get that ideal or the actual just human decency and human respect that we should have as Black folks in this country.
So on that point, what are you proud of then for Pride Month?
For me, what I'm proud of for Pride Month, I think honestly, I'm proud of us the most for Pride Month. From last year to now, and the space that we've created, I'm really proud of the work that we're doing. And
you mean Black people, or you mean us three?
No, us three. Like for this podcast, okay. Like honestly, like I'm really, yeah. I'm really
clarify.
Just,
like,
yeah.
What is us we talking about?
But I mean, like this. I mean, like over the last year, from last Pride to this Pride, like we've really done such a great job. I personally feel, and I feel this because of my own mental health and just my emotional stability that I've had since the podcast, and how positive it's been on me. And I know, given where I came from over a year ago now, and how much I was struggling, how much this benefited me, like that means so much to me specifically. And I know if it means a lot like that to me, then there are other people that are out there that are feeling the same way. So as far as Pride Month goes and being LGBTQIA+, I'm most proud of that. But when it comes to me as a Black man, I'm super proud of just everyone stepping up in the protests and rallies, and, you know, all these moves being made for a better tomorrow for us and those that come after us. So yeah.
Like I was thinking about this the other day. I was like, what am I? Because like Dewan was putting out, like, have reached out to a lot of community members this month, just saying, okay, what are you proud of this month? Like, why do you enjoy being proud? I forget how you set it up, but anyway. So I was just like, what would have my answer have been if I had put one out there? And I honestly think this year, and it's partly just because probably like the temperament of the world right now and things going on and the podcast and things like that, I finally feel the most free that I think I've ever felt. Like being out and being Black and all the above. Like, and it's not to say I didn't before, but I just feel like I'm slowly but surely finding a voice that, I don't know, that maybe I was scared to provide before a little bit.
Yes.
And I don't know if scared is the right word or not, but it just seems
like. Are you feeling more free, or are you feeling more seen? Like seen and heard?
Maybe a little both. I don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm finding folks that like either like, because like it kind of hit me too when Patrick was on the episode a few weeks ago. Patrick from Scales. Hey, Patrick.
Hey, Patrick.
Hey, boo.
When he said it probably took Scales for everyone to really know that he was out. I'm finding there's probably people in just like my path of life that I hadn't talked to in forever, that I've kind of been reacquainted to, that they're like, oh, you have a husband now, like, and this and that, you know, that I didn't care at one time or another if they knew I was out or not. But now that they see the podcast and see all the posts and this and that, it's kind of given this new voice that they might not have particularly heard from me, and then also us in a weird way. And that they're actually listening to that and care what we're saying, care what we're putting out there. And so I'm not sure if it's just the combination of the podcast, but then also with the Black Lives Matter movement, standing my ground on that. And I said what I said kind of thing, because I think in the past people, because I would like to think I'm a nice person. And I think sometimes being nice, they thought I didn't have maybe some of the viewpoints that I do. And so it's just been interesting, some of the conversations I've been having in the last month and the last couple months that I don't think people would have had with me prior to some of the things going on in life right now and being so vocal about Minority Report. So like, it's kind of been awesome. I'm just like, I feel a new footing within myself that I'm on the right track in life maybe. and that I do have a viewpoint, and that we can change the world, and that we can help the world, and that, you know, and so it's just this, I've been proud in that, and proud of us, like you were saying, Jarrell, of the platform that we're slowly building and the vantage points that we have, and getting it out there, and still showing that there is, even with us three, there is a spectrum even within us three, that we might not get along all the time and agree all the time, but it's so important for us to be out there and see. I don't know. Like, so that was a long ass winded answer, but it's just like, I was just sitting in bed one night, just like, wow, I feel very, very comfortable with where I'm at right now in life.
Yeah,
and
I totally get that.
I've always felt that way. There's always been some uneasiness of something somewhere, and that people weren't fully getting the full. And maybe, I mean, I don't know if people are still getting 100% on here. They're probably seeing one aspect still a little bit, but it's allowed me to give at least a fuller picture of who Corel is.
And I see, and like, I found myself, I think the biggest change for me is I found myself caring more about what was coming out of my mouth and how it affected other people that I muted myself so much because I didn't want to make anyone else uncomfortable or ruffle any feathers or challenge someone else's viewpoints. So the people pleaser in me was just be like, well, don't say nothing. Have those conversations face to face, but don't post. And now I'm like, at this point, I don't give a flying fuck. Like, if I'm muting myself, I'm harming myself at this point. Like I said the other week, like I said on the podcast where I was on diking out, you know, like, it's like a fart, better out than in, you know? Like, I can't, like, you know, like, I have to let that stuff out because it can be damaging mentally and emotionally, you know? And I had to take that ownership on that accountability of how I was kind of self-harming myself, giving the love from myself to other people that love was actually more deserving for myself. It was reserved for me and it should have been given to me, you know? And that's where I found myself feeling the most growth.
Yeah.
This was like a very, in my view, a very emotional month for a lot of Black people. Like when you think about like just our own personal journeys within the last 4 weeks of, you know, yes, we're dealing with like Rona and, you know, working from home and being sequestered and people in your lives who are sick and, you know, trying to battle against that and trying to figure out your new normal. And then like these images of all of these Black people that were just being murdered in front of your eyes, like one right after the other. And I know personally, like a lot of you guys out there in the podcast and, you know, here on the podcast, like, you know, I went through just a really dark period of like trying to figure out, like, make sense out of all of this and not knowing, like, nobody prepares you for this kind of stuff.
No.
You know, nobody prepares you for like what is happening right now. And everybody had to find their own way. And I feel like within this month, you know, being confronted with all of those images and then having to reconcile your own emotions and, you know, like trying to deal with that and then finding a way to channel it in a way that is positive and optimistic and, you know, that is productive. Yeah. You know, that's in a 4-week period of time, even though this month blew away like that, like June went by like an eyelash, like blowing on a dandelion.
It was, she ain't got no edges no more. Like, where my new growth at? It's supposed to be here.
But wait, what Beyonce say in that Black Parade? She said, "Fuck these edges," or something like that. Let them go, or something like that. So
let them go.
Beyonce said, "Well, no, her edges are never gross because even on BET Awards, she was looking laid for the gods."
First of all, her face was beat. I mean, them eyebrows were symmetrical as fuck. I was like,
Beyonce.
That was like copy and paste. She was beat for the gods. I was like, I was literally looking for something out of place.
And I was like, her hairdresser Neil must be back because the hair was laid. She didn't have her natural curls. She said, I'm about to lay this shit real quick. No fly away, nothing. I was like, Beyonce. So sorry, it always goes back to Beyonce. I just stole that moment from you, but Beyonce. But anyway, so Pride Month was
It just goes to show that this month was a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of us. And I think when we all look back, you know, there's a lot that we can be really proud of. And I think there's also a lot that we know that there's a lot more work that needs to be done.
Yeah.
But I do love the fact that for once in such a very long time, Pride Month, which was the commemoration of a civil rights act, a riot that happened at Stonewall, that we kind of got back to the roots of what that is. And for all the young gabies and lesbies that are out there and all the QIAEs that have been out there who didn't really understand the impetus and just saw Pride as kind of like a bunch of parades and parties and brunches and mimosas and, you know, the turn up. Now they have a visceral memory for themselves of what Pride really is all about. And it's about the search for equality, the fight for equality, and trying to make sure that everybody has a voice, not just the few.
Yeah.
And now
I just hope they remember. Like, honestly,
But I think
and I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna say
Uh-huh.
it now. Mark my words. Community.
No new tech.
Next year at Pride, I bet you all this shit gonna go out the window. I bet you it's I bet you that a lot of the people in the queer community are gonna act like they forgot about all this right now.
But I think it goes back to even just us. Yes, our platform isn't as large as some out there, but I think it's up to us to hold people accountable and be like, hey, you know what? I am here for a turn up. You know, I love a good turn up. However, we need to make sure that we are still progressing forward. And remember last year, what was going on? Shit still ain't all the way together or whatever it may be. I think it's up to us to utilize our voice now. And I think this year should show us that we can utilize our voice in positive ways that get things going, honestly. And I think that's what I was trying to say. And maybe that was the shorter version of what I said earlier. It's just like, I think this year, utilizing the voice in a manner to at least move the needle a little bit, I've seen that happen. And so now it's just like, okay, people are listening. I do have a voice. What can I do to utilize it, to channel it in a way to continue to keep the ball rolling? So
that begs the question.
My bad, because I was referring back to, like how Dewan mentioned about the people just being vocal and not really caring.
Gotcha.
That's, I was referring to that part about how much of the queer community was being performative. Right. When it comes to everything going on versus being actual, genuine, and real about it. Right, that's the part that I was getting on, because I can guarantee you, watch Juneteenth next year, Pride Month. Watch it. I already know there's going to be an issue.
Well, there's always those trolls too. Those little...
It's not even just them, but think about if the world is open back up come Pride next year. A lot of the people who said something this year said something because they ain't got shit else to do nor say. So they said what they said out of that's what everyone else is saying. Yeah. Give them the option
telephone game
to
is what
turn
you're
up.
saying.
Right. Give them the option to turn up or to speak up. And I guarantee you they're gonna take turn up over speak up.
Well, and I think that just goes to my point too, is just like whoever's in charge of the programming, who's ever in charge of parades, we need to make sure that we're involved, to make sure that at least moments are, yes, you're going to have your key moments, but we're going to have some real ass moments to make sure this ball is moving forward continuously. We can't let all this momentum that we did this year just fall away. So I think it's up to each of us to hold each other accountable. It's like, girl, you kicking way too much.
I gotta have faith. I gotta have faith. I'm so jaded. I gotta have faith. I gotta grow. Girl, I gotta have faith.
Also, I think it's also important. I think it's also important for us to realize that like the protests that are happening are not happening just because it's Pride Month. It just happened to coincide with Pride Month. And I don't think that as we march into the month of July, and as we continue to march to the latter half of this year, I don't think that we're going to be letting up anytime soon. For as many times as we see every goddamn day that there's another. I'm just saying, like,
I'm talking about the non-Black folks.
I get it, but what I'm saying is that we continue to see these atrocities of our rights being impacted day in and day out, right? So there's more that's happening and should be happening and will be happening beyond this month. I mean, there are already marches planned for this coming weekend and all over the United States. So it's not just a Pride Month thing. There's things that are happening above and beyond it.
Right. I was more for referring to just the queer community and having that inclusiveness that it should when it comes to Black folks. Because we've had plenty of conversations before George Floyd and other people who were brutally killed and murdered by police officers. And we've had those conversations about the lack of people in the queer community speaking up. And so I was just only reflecting about the queer community. I wasn't talking about it as a whole. I definitely think that this isn't going to end as a whole. But when it comes to Pride Month, which is catered to the queer community, that part, I do not see the growth happening as quickly. The seed has just been planted, and it's still going to be in the soil come next year.
Here's how you trick them. Juneteenth, like now that they know about Juneteenth, we have a Juneteenth Kiki, but within that programming, you're going to get some education for at least half of that shit. That's how you be like, okay, free drinks.
It's going to be a written exam at the end of it, okay? That's how you get to the open bar. You want this open bar? You got to answer 3 questions.
Yeah. Learn why Black trans lives matter. You're going to learn how this, that, exactly. You ain't getting and if you don't know the answers, your tab will be waiting at you at the door.
Okay, look.
That's how you get them. Anyway, like, I don't know. This was not on the agenda.
That was not on the agenda at all. We always do this. Back to the original programming.
Like, so thank you. Who opened the show? I forget already. It was
Corin.
Hey,
Corin. Hey,
yes.
boo.
With that accent,
with the
by
London
the way.
town.
Yes.
London town.
He said something about a mask in it or
like
something like that.
Like a purple titty or something. I was like, I don't know where this went left. But I
heard that accent, and
but listen, this is 2020, so we're expecting a lot of different things.
Hey, and got my attention.
And it was 2 years ago in London that I got engaged, and I can't even go any further. Happy birthday, Corey! I love you, boo. My husband's birthday was last week when this comes out, so. But yeah, I love London. Oh, we're not gonna be able to travel to fucking London.
Nope.
Look,
they're locking the doors. They're shutting us out.
They shutting us.
EU banning all of us.
We're you know, I don't know if you guys had this, but like growing up in your neighborhood, did you always have like the house that was down the street where the witch lived?
Yeah.
As a kid, you know, it's like the old lady that lived in a house by herself or whatever, and you said you always knew that was the house where the witch lived or whatever.
I'll read that house.
Like the world is looking at America like we're the old lady in the house.
We are.
That's a witch.
Because here's the thing, like, you don't want all the efforts you've done and all the quarantining you've done and stayed your ass at home for the last 4 months, and the U.S. out here acting a fool, and then they fly to your country and start that shit right back up. I don't blame them. Ban us.
I don't blame them. Yep.
Because we don't know
I want to get out this bitch. I want to be here.
If things don't go the way that they need to go in November, bitch, I am swimming somewhere. I don't have to catch a flight. I don't care. I'm going somewhere. I'm done.
Fizz,
I'm not doing it. Not another 4 years.
I feel that. I told Fizz because next year he'll be able to apply for his citizenship. And I told him, I was like, look here, bitch.
It's like, you
sure?
want
bitch.
Look, I sure did. I said I want my dual citizenship too. So you are not going to renounce your Kosovo citizenship, because if we got to get the fuck up out of here, we got a place to go.
Facts.
Yes, especially like you said, if things don't shape out how they should.
Y'all better vote. Y'all better vote. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Okay, so if you had to move somewhere because shit
I'm moving to Africa,
where would you go? Seriously, where would you go? I don't know about Africa because them gay rights.
I think I want to go for some reason. I want to go to New Zealand. I just see like New Zealand's always happy.
New Zealand. It's
I hear.
New Zealand.
Yeah. But I just heard it's like beautiful and like people are just extra cool.
I had a friend from college. She moved to Australia for the first maybe 5 or so years after college, and then was in New Zealand for like the next 5, and now she's back here in the U.S. maybe the last 2 years or so. And that doesn't seem like it adds up to enough years, but some.
Yeah. Like, come on, man.
Hold on.
Come on, man.
Like carry the one. I need some more years in there. But
you know what I would do now that I think about it? I remember there are like those little towns in Italy that will like pay you to live there and fix up the house.
Like you buy like a house for $1 or something like that.
Yes, you buy a house for $1, but you have to like, commit to fixing it up or whatever. I would do that.
Can we get a block? Can we get a block? Well, that's what we should do.
Yes.
Get a home.
Minority Report from Italy.
I'm in.
That would be the tea. Talk about building Black Wall Street up there next to Sicily.
Right.
Like,
I'm trying to think. I would move to like London. I would move to like a London.
2021.
Like a Barcelona, maybe. Madrid, Greece. Ooh. If we go to Greece, though, Corey and I might get like a little halftime timeout. Be like, girl, I'll see you in about a year. We'll reconvene over there. Oh Lord. Anyway, I don't know what else is going on.
Let's talk about the
we
BET
went all
Awards. Let's talk about the BET Awards because that's just been on my spirit.
Can we give a quick clap for Amanda Seales?
Hell
right now?
yes, she did.
Absolutely.
Because she did a great job.
Did the damn thing.
She did.
And a lot of people sleep on Amanda Seales. Like they sleep on her knowledge, they sleep on her skills, her entrepreneurialism, and like her like just her overall presence. I think people see her as the character that she plays in Insecure. Thank you. I was about to say It's a Wrap, but that's not it.
Girl, they only been done for 2 weeks. You don't forgot about the show?
No, she had that Indiana tap water at some point today.
That's what that is. That's what it is.
I'm surrounded.
I know she's like I'm on the vacay mode. But no, like I think a lot of people give her crap too, just because on Instagram she's so vocal about Black rights.
So
and she will get you all the way together. And I'm so here for it.
I like the line that she said in there. She was like, "That's why I said that I was jumping on my trampoline because guess what? They probably take the bounce out of that too." I was like, "That's you, right?"
Seriously, she gets everyone all the way together.
And if anybody has the right, like that is in social media, celebrity or whatever, she does, because she actually went to school. Like she went Howard University, studied in Black studies or whatever it is, Black something. But she studied in being Black. So if anyone has a right to be able to speak on it,
that's what people forget. She was in was it My Brother and Me?
My Brother and Me.
And so she's been around. She's seen some things.
She's been.
I just so I watched The Real from time to time, and I watched it once. I really watched it once she joined the cast,
and she was too real for the real.
She was too real for the real, and I noticed it real quick. No, she quit. She decided not to renew her contract.
Yeah,
and I understood why, because I could see it in her face, because she's a very faceless person, and she'd be sitting there like. No, I got something to say, but I can't because of my contract. You know, so she was professional as fuck. But I'm glad to get Amanda back, and I'm glad that she has her voice again, because I listen to her podcast, Small Doses. I love her podcast.
I want to read her.
Watch her on Instagram. I want to read her Small Doses. I want to read her book too next. Like she's just so 100% part of the
it's
cause.
It's a breath of fresh air, honestly, because like it's hard as a celebrity, I'm sure, to really speak your mind and say what you want to say and get those coins. So kudos to
especially when you got a lot of white people. You got a lot of white people that are signing the checks.
And kudos to BET for seeing that and then be like, you know what, this year we're going blackity black, which they if they didn't. Exactly. So I'm glad they went blackity black, and I'm glad that obviously BT must be owned by like Viacom or something, because it was on CBS, which is like the middle of America network.
It was so random. Because like if you search how to watch the BET Awards, you saw BET and CBS, and that's it.
And I'm sure Middle America was like, what the hell? Trump?
Well, even when you open the CBS All Access app, the first thing you see is watch the BET Awards. And I was like,
and they did, and it was good. Like,
they set the standard.
It was good.
I there's a hope for more award shows now. Like from here, I felt like every performance, you could tell that the artist put effort into it. There was a message behind it. It wasn't just like, yes, it was in some people's living room, but it wasn't just in the living room. There was like production that went with it and everything else. It was
good. And
I think Corona actually brought out, in my opinion, the creativeness of like what an award show could be about. Like if you think about like Amanda Seales and how she introduced different segments and how she had like she was on segments. The old BET segments, or she was doing like the spoken word. You know, it was like that was so good, and it was just so well performed. And I think there's obviously something to be gained by having a live performance with everybody in the room, but sometimes you kind of lose a little bit of like the production value because everything is so like on the stage. And I didn't feel like this award show, you missed anything. Like everybody made really good use out of their time.
The only hard thing about it was still like getting an award. You're just like, okay, it was kind of awkward a little bit. But other than
that little pause that they do, kind of like, and the award goes to Lizzo.
Like, right.
I'm really happy for you.
And Lizzo had her little gown, and I was like, okay, Lizzo.
That was an old school Barbie outfit, you know, with the little ruffle that you could put in different places.
It was. But it's going to be interesting, like you said, like other award shows that probably have even a bigger budget than even BET does, to see what they do creativity-wise. But I got three people to shout out. The Baby for doing that one.
The audio.
Can we break this down?
Okay. Okay, hold on. Maybe we save the Baby there.
And then we got to break it down.
We'll break the Baby down last because to see his growth is incredible. So Anderson .Paak. Love me some Anderson .Paak.
Yeah.
His performance is dope. Megan Thee Stallion. Meg Thee Stallion and them knees. Got Jaquel Knight, who was Beyonce's choreographer, to do her whole get up. And it was like the whole little Mad Max setup. And it was his directorial, dear God, debut for that too. So that was dope. I was like, okay, you got all these dances. I hope y'all have masks and shit this whole time.
Right.
But that was dope just to see. I was like, okay, Megan is trying to become that next little superstar. Like she took it seriously. She's like, okay, if I'm gonna be on here, I'm gonna make sure this shit looks legit. I'm gonna be twerking it. Oh, you didn't like it?
Oh, a little disappointed.
Oh, I got my life.
I thought it was great because it wasn't live, so it was exactly what I expected to be.
It looked like a video.
It looked like it looked like a music video.
Yeah. It did.
However, I'd rather she not have just had the microphone because she wasn't singing live.
That's
so I was like, at what point?
That to me bothered me.
Me too. It bothered me too. I was like, I'd rather you just would have sang as if it was a music video, and
perform. And perform, because I felt like part of the reason why I didn't enjoy it as much is because she was doing this. This was all in her face the entire time. So between the hair and this, you couldn't even see what was going on.
But you saw that body.
Wait, and she dropped down to that split, bitch. I said, all 12 of them girls dropped down into the split in unison.
And they kicked that leg up first and then went into this. I was like,
I'm here for it.
I'm here for it.
She did great.
I've been watching her on Legendary on HBO. And so you see all these Vogers that are like, that she's supposedly like, critiquing or whatever. Right. And then like, I go to see her and her performance. I was like,
I mean, it's not her lane. It's not her lane. Vogue is not her lane. That's not her lane.
I'm tripping. There's a fourth one. Chloe and Halle. I'm tripping.
I was about to say Chloe and Halle. Yeah, that was mine too.
It out.
I think my number one thing that I love the most is the segment when they did the say their name and they had celebrities saying their names. And I fucking love that they finally said Black trans women in the fucking program. Because remember last year, or was it 2 years ago?
They didn't say all their names either, and that kind of bugged
No.
So
but they didn't say that. But they didn't say all their names and everybody though. It was literally just.
But you could have put a couple trans names in.
No, they put two. They put two in there. There were two in there. There was Raya Milton and Dominique Remy Fells that were both mentioned in there.
Right.
But the fact being from when Pose came out and they were getting all the nominations and all the awards, and they got no nominations, no invite to the BET Awards, to now actually saying like all Black Lives Matters and speaking Black trans. That was a moment that I felt really proud as a Black person to see our fucking community giving a fuck about the queer community and about the our trans brothers and sisters. Like that was such a huge moment.
I know, because I was looking on the ground for Alicia Keys too. I was like, okay, I better see a trans name.
Yep, same here. Absolutely. And I told Fizz, like I paused it. I was like, no, I need to go back. And I had to re-see this again because I was like, oh, okay, Billy Porter came up there. And I was like, oh, okay, what's the name came up there? And I was like, oh.
Yeah, Laverne
Cox. Laverne Cox. I was like, so I did that. And then Alicia Keys, like she had me in tears. Like I really hadn't truly listened to the song, but seeing her perform that song and the way that she did, I was a wreck for the rest of the show. Like I couldn't get that performance. Like until Chloe and Halle came. Until Chloe and Halle came along, that's all I could think about was Alicia Keys' performance because it was just so moving. Yeah. So those are mine. And everyone you said too.
Yeah.
Chloe and Halle turned it out for me.
They did.
I mean, it was so interesting, and I'm curious what you think about it, Carell, just because your musical background or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But like, as I was, I'm more like the way that I listen to music. I'm more like I hear like I'm more about the visual, right? And then I hear the words, and then the musicality, like the beat, is like the last thing. And so it was really interesting because there was a lot of like Beyonce-esque kind of like vibe going on
Chloe.
with Chloe.
Yeah.
Even the way that she was dressed and the way that she performed had like that Houston, Texas, baby.
Even how she sings. When she sings, there's certain notes that she sings that she'll go, and I'm like,
riffs.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, Beyonce. Like I hear a lot of Beyonce.
Just a drive. Like there's certain artists that you see just have this extra drive of wanting to perform. Some people kind of get up there and almost like have like second guess themselves. Chloe, I mean, Halle too. Halle's dope as hell. But Chloe
has a different energy, though. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Because Halle is more sweet. She's sweet. Whereas Chloe is more about like, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am.
And you notice, like, on the tracks on their last album, if there's any cussing, it's Chloe's that's doing the cussing. She's like, I don't know. She's like, I'm 21 now, bitch. Like, fuck this.
Like, you know what's interesting?
Halle's also Ariel, so she's got.
She's like, let me get this Disney check.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah, you're right.
But it's funny, the song that they have out now, the "You Got Me Fucked Up," you got me. Fucked up. Halle wrote that song. So Chloe's about cussing.
Really?
But if you look at the credits, like I think they both wrote it, but like the way in credits, if your name's first, you wrote more, had more contribution to a song than if you're like the fourth or fifth writer or something like that. And Halle's the #1 writer on that song. And so I found that interesting. I was like, okay, everything Chloe over here cussing up a storm.
Can we talk about
writing these damn words?
Right, but can we talk about how they literally learned how to write songs from YouTube?
Yeah.
They because they were saying that, especially with their last album, grown people weren't making songs for kids, for little kids. So they had to learn how to write music in order to create their last album. And that's what they carried on to this. And I was just like, wait. So you started on YouTube doing covers, and then you learned on YouTube to how to write. I was like, I need to use YouTube. I mean, okay, like for real. Like I need to put the sports down on YouTube and pick up some talents
cool to see
on
their
YouTube.
growth. Like I just love seeing artists grow and turning into that more of an adult artist. You see the creativity, and we're seeing that with them.
It's kind of weird though, because it's like watching your niece that ever since she was like 6 years old, wearing pigtails and looking real cute with her.
Now they got
like
the titties out.
with her faux real baby hairs, because they from her being a baby, and now she's got baby hairs and titties and ass.
I know, it's true. And they kind of had that
weird thing.
Destiny's Child "Lose My Breath" vibe, where they're dancing with each other against each other.
And I do love like that whole like that visual like of the two different songs playing with each other, and like juxtaposed to one another, and like the different visuals that were in there. It's just like the whole production. They just do. They do it so well. And
that was their garage. There was a garage.
And just the way that they sing, like it's like it's almost like whales. You know how whales kind of like have like that.
Wait, huh?
Like
where we going? Where are we going with this? I'm gonna need you to break this down. What do you mean like whales? Because in my mind, I got Dory
Not Dory from Finding Nemo. They do, like, if you think about it, they do those like operatic runs like that. like that, and then they mix that shit in with some hip hop.
Wait, how it go?
You guys are not gonna get me like that.
Hey, this is about to be the teaser, right?
Right, you know that.
Every time.
Oh man. But anyway, Chloe Halle dope. But for the baby to have the kind of songs he has out, where it's kind of like he's like that new upcoming rapper, where it don't matter what he's saying, to actually have a moment where his visual was so epic, like kind of almost recreating the George Floyd moment.
Yeah.
I love the baby
100%.
before the baby. Woo! You just put yourself in a whole other league. It was.
That was powerful. That was like Public Enemy powerful. That was putting your voice on the movement and doing it in such an authentic way.
Absolutely.
It didn't like watching it. It didn't feel like a gimmick. It didn't feel like this. It felt like this was an experience that he has personally had, and he's putting this stuff on film, and it was amazing to watch.
Good job, the baby. I was here.
Yeah. For me, what got me the most, I have some issue with the baby because some of his performance and him like smacking a couple people at some of his performances and stuff like that.
You about that energy.
Look, for real. Yeah, he is about the energy. However, the thing that I liked the most was the audio at the end of the young kid crying, saying, it shouldn't be like this, like we're losing our mamas and daddies, like that, like I teared up at that point. So I thought it was really cool. I have to say there was one point that irritated me.
What's that? And
it was when the baby was on the car and he was rapping, and then the person that was on the track jumped on and they touched and sang 8 inches away from the same fucking microphone. And I was like, niggas, like, come on now. We still in COVID.
It's funny because it's funny you say that, because like with every single performance, I was looking for social distancing. I was looking for who was wearing masks and who weren't wearing masks. And I have to say, the majority of the people that were in performances, they observed, like even the choreography, like Meg Thee Stallion, everybody was at least 6 feet apart, which was really great. But with the baby's performance, they were close. They had some masks, but not everybody had masks. And it wasn't as obvious the social
I thought the same
distancing.
When Usher started walking towards Summer Walker. I was like, Playboy, don't get too close.
I was literally looking at the couch, and I was like, okay, there's 3 cushions on the couch, so it got to be at least 6 feet. I was sitting there doing the same thing.
But that actually, Summer, I will give it to Summer Walker. She sounded great last night on that.
She always sounds good.
Yeah. And that's like her energy, because she doesn't have to be around people. So she's like, well, this is my steez right here. I have like 3 people in here. I ain't got to perform for nobody. It's just me singing and Usher.
Yeah.
Usher, baby.
I'm just still kind of petty because she said she was like, she canceled her tours and stuff like that. I don't want to see your fucking face until you release another album or you hop back on a tour, because there were so many of us who had bought tickets that were waiting to see her. And it's like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Oh, but here you at the beach.
But why did Twitter say that she looked like Moesha?
She did, though.
You know what?
She did. Mo to the E to the.
I was like,
she did.
Like they said, I can't unsee this, and it was the old school Moesha with like the short braids, like I was like, I cannot with you, Black Twitter.
Black Twitter will get you together in a heartbeat,
real quick.
What did you guys think of? What did you think of the tribute to? Little Richard. Yeah.
Oh yeah, Wayne Brady did a good job. I thought it was cute. I thought it was cute.
I feel like it's hard to tribute Little Richard because he's already almost like a character of himself, and he can only do him. That like Wayne doing it almost looked like he was mocking him slightly.
But that Beyonce breakdown at the end, that Beyonce breakdown at the end. I was like, hey,
that was dope.
I have to give it up. Like just the production value of that whole performance, because number one, I feel like he did a tribute to Little Richard without making in my opinion, a mockery of it, because he sang it in kind of a Wayne Brady kind of way, and he kind of toned down a lot of the woos that. Not to like put the emphasis on it, which I thought was really smart. But then also, it was a single shot. If you guys go back and watch it, it was a single shot through all of those scenes. And so that was straight choreography. He had to keep that. And I'm sure he was lip syncing through it or whatever, but like he had to keep all of that. I mean, I know how hard it was for you two to do the cool off challenge. And that was what? A minute and a half?
Man. was huffing and puffing,
I literally had to give when I watched it, I was just like, oh, you know, this is kind of like whatever. But then I was just like, wait a minute, is this a single? And as it was going on, I was like, this is really impressive. So not only are they giving you different elements of who Little Richard was, and there were some songs, some lyrics that I never knew because I was,
really?
Yeah, there were some lyrics that the lyrics were playing on the screen once I was watching the song or whatever. And I was like reading the lyrics. I was like, oh, damn, I never knew it said that. It was just a great, in my opinion, a great production number and tribute of somebody great that we lost.
And I'm glad they did a tribute because I don't know if any other award show is going to really give Lil Richard the credit that he literally deserves. Like
somebody needs to do a biopic for him, like a really good biopic with him in it, because that would be an amazing story. Like if you look at what.
Speaking of biopic, that Respect is coming out too.
Yes, Aretha.
That like,
did you see
I'm
the
gonna say this. Yes, I'm gonna say this. Jennifer Hudson's gonna get another Oscar.
She better.
She gonna get another Oscar.
She better.
Because
she need it.
Looking at that, I was like, God damn! Like it looks phenomenal.
100%.
Oh, that's gonna be amazing.
I can't. And the sad thing again, it's just like no one's gonna be going to the movie theaters anytime soon. So it's like all these awesome movies that were supposed to come out, even like Candyman and Wonder Woman. It's just like they keep pushing the dates back, and it's just like I don't know when I'm gonna feel comfortable to sit my ass in a movie theater with air circulating around with all these people around me.
Some of them
they've been releasing
AMC
some things like they've been releasing something straight to video and charging like the whole $20 whatever. Because like I think
the High Note with at least with Tracy Ellis Ross.
With Tracy,
I paid for that. Yeah.
So did I.
Yeah, I did.
Yes,
because I wanted to make sure she got her coins. It was cute.
I wanted her. I wanted to support
her to get her coins. Absolutely.
Just like last week, I said I'm going broke, but I'm supporting everybody black.
And it was cute. It was super cute.
It was super cute.
Yeah.
But it's just like
I actually would have rather have seen. I would have seen that at home anyway. I would not have wanted to see it in the movie theater.
Same, absolutely.
So like, I'm glad that it came out.
But some of these bigger movies though that you're so used to seeing in the theater. I don't know what they're gonna. It's gonna get to a point where they're just gonna be like, there's gonna be some big movie that has to pull the trigger, and then the rest of everyone's gonna do it because they've already like not the Bourne Identity.
Mission Impossible.
That too. There's like some huge movies that they've pushed back, and it's just gonna get to a point where you're gonna be like, okay, we done push this back for like 2 years.
Well, so we're like we're part of the AMC club, and so like we pay like $15 a month, and we can see as many movies as we want. But they already sent us an email saying that they're like AMC as a company is going to be opening up the theaters at a certain amount come like July 31st or something like that, like within the next month. Article. So yeah, so you know, like
they just built a brand new one by us finally, and we can't even go yet.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's going to start happening. And
do you feel comfortable sitting in like
I've
like that?
I've rode a plane 4 times now. So yes, ma'am, I do. As long as you have a mask on the whole entire time.
I don't know if I do.
You know, and then also like
I'm on the fence about that. I mean, first of all, I'm in New York, so it's a whole different situation up here. But like, I think it's going to be a long time. I think I'm going to be like watching movies in my house for a long time.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, sir, like, I mean, I'm okay with watching it. Don't get me wrong. I would prefer to watch them in my home if I had to choose. But I'm also okay with going because. As long as if you're following the social distancing protocols, like, and they're wiping down the seats, and especially like AMC, or excuse me, not AMC, Regal. That's what I meant to say. My fault. Regal, where you have to pick your seats online, and so they can literally sell certain seats and only in those spots to make sure that you are the social distancing, you know, between people. So
I think
it will be a first come, first serve, like the restaurants right now.
I think the issue. I think you're 100% right, Drell, and I also think that it's an issue of like, you know, like in the movie theaters, it's not just who's beside you; it's who's behind you in front of you. So like, if they've blocked out like every other row completely, so that nobody can sit there, and they blocked out, you know, like 3 seats in between you and the next person. There's logic, so that
gave me some Lysol wipes to wipe down the seat because I don't trust no teenager wiping my seat down.
I just like it would take a lot of that.
Yeah,
to get me out, because like don't get me twisted. I was jonesing for the Wonder Woman movie, 1984.
That would have been out right now. That would have been out right now, and we'd have been living our life.
Seriously,
we would have been living all. We would have all been twirling around the streets. Just twirling.
But you know what that means? That means they have the time to double check that movie, make the
and get the graphics all the way together,
and get the graphics all the way together. Like all these movies that are pushing.
Y'all better not have some suck-ass
nominated.
Seriously, you have no excuse. Because all your graphic artists chilling at the crib, so you know they already got computers and shit at home. Work on that shit some more. Thank you.
Yes, I'm down for that.
But before we move on to the next subject, because we did push this one a little long, I do have to say, of the people who were like new artists to look at, whoever Loner Boy is.
Yeah, I had never heard of that person.
I had never heard of him before, but his voice gave me very Miguel.
Yeah,
it gave me like very like early Usher.
And they cut him off abruptly. That was weird.
It was very noticeable.
I was like, this is not a real award show. You had time.
Right. Yeah.
There's a such thing called. This whole thing was edited.
Right. I was like, damn, they cut this motherfucker off.
Okay. But he can sing though, and it was funny because. I was listening to the song, and originally the song, when he released it, was with her. And I was like, that's why I love this song, because it reminded me so much of something that her would do.
Yep.
So, you know, he was like, for me, like the up and new coming artist that they always do each year.
Mm-hmm.
He was like the best one for me. So overall, it was great. Black.
Job,
I think, Jarrell, you said it. I think you said it. They set the bar for what these kinds of shows can look like. It was super creative, very interesting, hot, like the energy was high throughout the entire thing. The host did an amazing job of like participating in it, and it didn't feel forced or weird or awkward or like they were reading off of a
she did it in her house.
Like, and she at the end, bitch, she was like, oh, and one more point, I did this shit in my house. I was here for that. I was here for that.
It was all right. Well, it's funny. Every time we say before we hop on that we don't have a lot to talk about, here we are, hour in. We haven't gotten to ask your aunties yet. So,
oh my god,
we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 things on our list, and we did 1, 2, 3. We did 3 of the things on our list.
Corral, so much for that hour and a 20-minute episode you're about to give the community this week.
I was trying. Y'all don't understand how long it takes to edit this shit. So, okay, here we go. What time is it?
Ask your
auntie. Oh, man. So, let's see here. I had it up, but I think I done closed my screen and everything. Hold on. Okay, here it goes. So the question this week was actually, I put it in like months and months and months ago. And it stemmed from some show. I forget what it was, but it says, do you and your partner, husband, boyfriend, or community members, your girlfriend, whomever, show affection in public? If not, why? And how do you overcome it? If so, have you always done so?
Auntie Chardonnay, I'm going to let you go first.
Adam and I don't show a lot of PDA, mostly because that's just not his thing. Mm-hmm. I don't mind it. Now, I'm not a gross PDAer. Like, not into like, you know, we're in the supermarket and we're like, you know, tonguing each other down and stuff like that. Like, you know,
or having
right, you know, or having your hand like inside their jeans, inside their underwear, cupping their booty, you know, like we're not kind of.
No, I'm not about to sing that song. Never mind.
You know, but like, I do like a little PDA, and it's like holding hands or, you know, like hugged up or something like that. So but it's not a deal breaker for me. So I just adjust because people are different. You know, so yeah, I don't know. What about you guys?
Physical touch is one of my love languages. So, if you're going to be by me, like, I would like to hold your hand if your hand is open. Like, if you are across the room, I will wink at you just to be like, hey, boo, I see you, you know? and you know.
Like,
But if I'm being honest, I found myself also like not really giving the PDA just because I also feel like just coming from the hood and being out and stuff like that, like, and just the dangers of also being just a black ass man. And you know, like I feel like my mind is elsewhere, that I don't also give PDA the time that I would like to, because I'm making sure my surroundings is a safe space, and I'm making sure that I know where my exes are, and I'm making sure that I know where my people is, you know, and I'm making sure that there is no danger around as a black man, you know. And then also too, like, just being in interracial relationships too, like that's a whole nother other card that comes with it too, because you have some white folks that will look at you because you're in a interracial relationship and think, oh, well, he must have a BBC, or there must be something going on, because that can't be real. And then there's the, you know, folks in our own community being like, oh, you're Uncle Tom, or you fucking cracker lover, and like all the, oh, you're not black enough, etc., like that cause issues. Or they, you know, or people may see you in an interracial relationship. I mean, I've been in DC and literally gotten into fist fights because someone was chucking ice cubes at my partner at the time, you know, and we were just simply dancing on the dance floor at a fucking gay bar at that. Okay. So and also when we came to Atlanta, Carell, the first time, Easter weekend, and Fizz and I went for a walk. We went to a McDonald's, and he got so many fucking dirty looks, and he was like, I don't feel comfortable, like, extra like that. Like, you know, so like I've been on both sides where, you know, white people have had an issue, black folks have been an issue, gay folks have an issue. So now when I'm out in public, I don't even know how to fucking act. PDA is the last thing on my mind. The first thing on my mind is, am I have to fight a bitch? That's literally when I'm out in public with my partner. Honestly, it's safety. Like, safety is the first thing that's on my mind as a black man, and then as a gay man in a interracial relationship. Am I protecting myself, and then protecting my partner is the second thing. It's literally in that order. So I don't really get to enjoy the moment and actually give PDA, because I'm like, all right, hands out the pocket, be ready to swing at a moment notice, check your exits, you know, like, you know, like that literally had thoughts of them, like, we've been gone out, like I've told Fizz, because like, hey, we're crossing, I see some people 2 blocks down, you know, they look like, you know, they may have an issue, so we're not going to hold hands. If something happens, I'm gonna fight these bitches, and I want you to run. You know, like, no, like I told, like, no, I've had to have that conversation with him. Like, you know,
I've had
like,
that conversation with
Adam. Like, if we're gonna get in an altercation, I'm going down before you.
Right, you run and you call the police.
You run and you like right, and I'm gonna protect you. You know, and so, I mean, but again, I feel like that's not a typical conversation you have when you're if you're not in an interracial relationship. You know, I don't think people really have those conversations. So.
It's interesting. Like, I feel we're not a big PDA couple either, and I feel like it's actually kind of almost the reverse. Corey really isn't, and I think a lot of it stems from him being a little older than I am, and his kind of maybe generation still kind of has this stigma that was honestly placed on them of you couldn't do that because it would out you and things like that, you know. So I think he still has a piece of that in him. I'm like, I'm always grabbing at his hand. Like, I just like holding his hand. It's sweet.
Yeah.
I like his hands. And even like kissing in public, like he's kind of aware of that too. And for me, it's I'm not normally I don't give a damn what people go kind of think about me person, except when it comes to that. Like, I'm like, I wish someone would come up to me. Like, what are you gonna do? Like, it's so weird. Like, that's the only time I'm like that, and it might be slightly being protective of him. And then luckily me, I've been 6'2" since I was like 14, so part of it could be too that like not too many people, you know, is gonna have to take somebody. Right. It's gonna have to take someone bigger than I am to step to me in a little ways. So I'm like, give me your damn hand, because they ain't gonna say shit to me, you know, kind of thing. And I'm not normally like that, but that's probably one of the few times that I'm very definitive about that. And And he's just like, okay, whatever, girl, you know. And I think for him, he's kind of more aware, even though I know they're there, I see it. He's more aware of just the eyes of being in an interracial relationship, and even probably for him and I, the age gap that's between us sometimes too, you know. Me, I'm like, okay, what are you going to say? Like, you're not going to say anything to me, you know. And it's like, because partly I don't even put that energy out there, but if you're going to step, then let's go. And kind of like you, I'm going to make sure he's good. And Corey go call someone because they're gonna believe you before they believe me.
And you better not fall. And you better not fall. If you're gonna run, you better not fall. If you fall, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap.
I'm gonna beat you up.
Look, I'm so glad that Fiznik. I'm so glad he fast. Fiznik is fast. He's almost like black people fast. Like I'm quick, and he can keep up with me. So I'm like, okay, good. I can tell you to run, and you're gonna be good.
That would lose all of like the sexual energy for like a whole year. If like we in some trouble and all your job is to run away and call the police, and then you fall, scrape up your damn knee.
You got one job. What you were singing, you about to lose your job.
Meanwhile, we're in the back. We're like throwing blows. We're throwing blows, and then we look over on the side of our eye, and he's on the ground. You're like, what?
But it's so funny though too, like this PDA thing. The first night that Corey and I met though, we were just like on the dance floor at the bar making out. Like we were on like the street corner making out, getting our cab because Uber, I don't even think was launched. We just had the same name. I remember Uber launched like later that summer or something in Chicago. Anyway, but now that we're like 8 years in, we don't do that. You know? So it's bizarre, the kind of thought process of it.
My love language is quality time. I want to spend, and this applies to with my friends. Like I will fly to see a bitch. Like I'll come out to see Carell. I'll fly out to see Jarrell. Like I will come to see you because it is important to me to spend physical time with someone and to like be there. And so like with Adam and I, it's like I may be in the living room watching TV or whatever, and he may be doing whatever, and wherever. And I will want him to just come into the living room and just sit on the sofa with me. He don't have to do anything. He just has to be in the room. And then when he gets up to leave, because we're really not doing anything, he's just in the room, I get mad. Like, why are you leaving? Where you gotta go? Like, I just want us to spend time together. But like physical touch is not as much of my love language. But what I do notice is that when I'm out in public, I think because we're in an interracial relationship and, because I think we're both so secure in who we are as people and whatnot, I think for me, any kind of PDA, like holding hands or whatever, it's more of an outward expression, almost like a protest in the sense of, I want other people to see that there is this kind of love that's out there. So if we're riding the train together and then like I'm getting off the train before he gets off the train, I will kiss him. And usually he won't kiss me on the mouth. He'll like turn a little bit to the side because he's a little uncomfortable with PDA. Right. I'm like, oh, okay, well, mouth. Right. That'll piss me off.
Do you guys get excitement when seeing other interracial couples?
Yes.
I'm telling you, like I see other interracial couples and I get excited, especially when I see a black woman with a white man. I'm like, yes, bitch, I see you. Yes, I'm like,
yes.
Oh my god,
I love it. I really do. I mean, I get excited when I see like a lot of couples. Like, I think being in an interracial relationship, you understand that dynamic has so many complexities that there is almost like a kinship that that they can understand and appreciate some of the same things, like explaining hair, explaining why you have a washcloth and you don't, like that kind of stuff, like those kinds of conversations and interactions, that they automatically get it in their
like cultural moments. Well, there was one the other night that I looked at Corey, I was like, if I would have known, I don't know if we would have made it this far.
What was it?
I'm trying to think now. It might have been it was he didn't know who Donnie Simpson was on the BET Awards. So, and I was like,
oh my goodness.
I was like, wait, you don't know who Donnie Simpson is? I was like, the pretty eyes, who hasn't aged a day, by the way.
Really?
The grades were poking out, but
he sounded great. He sounded great.
Yes.
I was like,
seriously.
damn. Like,
but he
There-
didn't
you know
who
what?
Johnny
There's-
Simpson was. And
I was
like,
listening to the Sibling Rivalry podcast, which is Bob the Drag Queen and Monet Exchange, and they were talking about that there are just some black celebrities that white people have no idea who they are, and they started naming some names like Nia Long.
Oh yeah, it was trending on Twitter like a couple weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, and it was so fucking funny because you sit there and you think, damn, maybe they.
How do you not know? Like a lot of white people know Sinbad, but like if you were to say Donnie Simmons, they would be like,
I
don't know who that is.
I clutched my pearls. I was like. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if we would have gotten this far if I knew that.
Oh my gosh, that's too funny. Yeah, no, but I get what both you guys are saying. And I agree. Like, for me, I think because my love languages are physical touch and acts of service, it requires it requires both parties to be doing something in order for that to happen.
Right.
And I think that's because in my nature, I'm a people pleaser. And so I'm always been like, are you okay? Do you need something, etc.? And so in return, I kind of like some of that back. And when it comes to
what you want.
Right. And so when it comes to public, I find myself throwing out those things and being like, that'll probably be the one time I'd be like, don't hold my hand, or maybe don't kiss me, or something like that, depending on where we are.
Yeah,
because I've literally gotten into fights because of being in an interracial relationship and just being gay. So like,
is there any PDA that you won't do?
I'm all for it. I like it.
I mean, we already heard about the mosquito bites on the booty.
That's hot, though. That's hot. That's hot. I don't care. But thing is, like, it's funny. As much as I say that, physical touch probably isn't my love language. Like, I'm definitely words of affirmation and acts of service. Like, words of affirmation for sure. Like, I like, because like I think I've said on here, like I do a lot for a lot of people. I do a lot wherever. But the moment that someone like out the blue does something, it makes me tear up because you didn't have to. You didn't have to go out your way.
Wait, isn't that acts of service? That's not words of affirmation.
Well, because I think like I like cards and things like that and notes of that.
Yeah,
so, like,
that's acts of service.
But acts of service, I don't need anyone to do it. I don't expect like
for
I will.
It's more about this. It's a sentiment. It's a sentimentality and the words that are being said.
It's not the actual act of service. Like I don't need you to do shit for me. However, the sentiment behind it, all day, every day. That's where. So it's kind of maybe a hodgepodge between those two.
Yeah.
So
come on, loophole. Of course.
Well, because because I'm like I was saying words of affirmation, but now you kind of made me think maybe there is some sort. I don't know, but it's definitely more words of affirmation.
Because I get that, because I think I might be a little bit on the same. Because like you said, I don't need nobody to do anything. I can be bad all by myself. I don't need but. I feel like when someone does those things on their own, like that means something else, right? You're like, right? Like, like that means a whole, like,
and you remember to actually do it, and you actually remember to follow through, and you actually
man, look, you get brownie points. I'm gonna show up for you.
More queer people need to like. I think more queer people need to like understand like their love language because it's not even just about like romantic love. It is about it is about how you express appreciation and kindness towards others and the kinds of appreciation that you appreciate. And that's huge. And a lot of people don't know like what gets them going.
It took this relationship for me to understand that. Like I had no idea what love languages were until 2 years ago when I moved out here and we were like, why is communication going awry? Like the whole long distance fantasy went out the fucking window and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And then we realized, and then we realized, because when we were meeting up, when we were long distance, it was always honeymoon phase.
It's vacation romance.
It was a vacation. Exactly. Yep. And then you get to the nitty gritty as far as like, what is it that you like, right? That you know, like how can I love you that you'll best, you know, receive it,
appreciate,
and same thing vice versa. And then I had to learn in the same thing, like how to accept love from his love languages, even though it's not what I want. Ooh, girl, child, look, community, look, relationships are work, okay, work,
work,
child.
work. That's a weird song for the pop in my head. Wow.
That was a great question, though, boo. Like, for real.
Yeah, that was a really good question.
And we'll pose this to the community, too, just to see, like, A, do you do PDA? And then if so, what are your love languages? So maybe 2 little questions we'll pose out there.
I think that'll be interesting because, like, even when I think about just being out and about, like, I'm in New York and obviously outside of the pandemic, I don't often see a lot of PDA, even just, you know, like I know my lens is gay. So like I default to like gay guys holding hands with each other or whatever. I don't see that often.
Might be a little,
and it's just like it, like, but when I do, it's just like I love seeing that. I love when I'm in the supermarket and I see two people that like love each other and like are expressing that love in like different ways and
like I
through
love
physicality. It's like so cute.
It's like pinky, not even like his whole hand. Sometimes I just love that. Like it's just a little touch.
I just realized how spoiled Fizz and I are because we live in the neighborhood in Seattle. I just realized that. And so much of like just even going to the grocery store, it's like in the neighborhood, you know, like when we want to go for a walk, you know, it's in the neighborhood. And I just realized like, yeah, when we're outside of that stuff, it definitely goes from like a 7 to like a 2 in a 1 real quick because of all the sad reasons I said before.
And I know this is dragging on, but it's just like, is it just because we have a fear something will happen and so we're protecting ourselves? You know, like, what is it?
I think part of it is just being Black and just also having you know, just being Black men and having to understand that with racism. I think it's very easy for that to translate to our queerness.
And a protection.
Thing. Absolutely. Yep.
I would also think that there might be some leftover kind of like homophobic like stuff that kind of creeps in the person's head of like, oh, you know, I don't care what you do in the bedroom. I just don't want to see it all the time. And we take that shit to heart. Meanwhile, you turn on CBS and you see, you know, 2 straight people fucking like, you know, the hypocrisy of that, you know, I do think there's a little bit of that.
I don't do a lot of the Black thing anymore because the city is black.
Right.
So, but it's just like, there are still those moments sometimes where I'm like, it's just like, but why?
And see, I feel like a part of those people who are racist, I feel like if you're racist, I feel like the homophobic part kind of goes hand in hand. You know, like I'm just like, you don't like white people. If you don't like a whole race of people, you definitely don't like you don't like the gays. Right, exactly. You know,
even though you're probably in the bedroom, gay porn. Okay, that's a whole nother topic.
Okay, Texas. We saw y'all Pornhub search.
But yeah, so community, continue to send your ask your auntie questions. And by the way, send in your intros. We need some more intros, by the way. So please send those. You know, we're back.
And if you did an intro before, you know, switch it up. Again. Let's get the remix. Let's get the remix. What's it? 220
take that
2020 remix.
Oh man. Okay. So what was on our long ass list that we probably need to pare down now? But
well, July 4th. I mean, we just came out of. So you know, happy belated Independence Day.
Yes.
Happy. What's the words I want to say?
Happy birthday!
I want to say happy birthday! Happy birthday to a country that don't give a fuck about us. That's what I wanted to say.
I'm done.
Boom. That's what I wanted to say.
Right, exactly. It's like,
that's what I wanted to say.
We don't need no more of the episode after that.
Okay, Nene Leaks.
Right. It's like, damn. Okay.
Said what I said.
That's
but yeah, like
funny.
4th of July.
What's the best part of July 4th for you? Like that whole like celebration. What's the best part for you? I was saying
this. Who was I talking to the other day? I forget. Oh, I was talking to a couple of my buddies from Michigan. And it's this time of year that I actually kind of miss the Midwest and Michigan particularly because there's just a vibe about being in the Midwest this time of year that you're just so appreciative of
Lightning
weather.
Lightning bugs. Yes.
Like growing there is just so many lakes everywhere that like you're probably on a lake somewhere, you're on water somewhere, that there's just a vibe about it. You probably crack open a couple beers, you know, so it's just kind of this weird Midwest thing. That,
Adam and I
she bushed now. She bushed now.
Right, the
she
Butch
bushed.
Queen comes come on now, come on, bros. Yeah,
we're in Indiana right now, and I'm looking out the back door and like looking out to the lake and the pontoon boat and whatnot, which we'll be doing this week. It is so nice. I tell you what, for me, it's definitely the food, like a hot dog and like a regular hot dog and a white bread bun with Lay's potato chips and some baked beans. And some baked beans.
That is true.
like I don't know what it is, but like it's those. Perfect. Oh, and the hot dog has to be burnt. Like it has to be burnt.
You gotta have a little You gotta have some crispiness on it.
Black.
I know. Oh, see, not all
like
the way
that's
black.
For me. See, I love it.
I don't know. See, for me, like the 4th of July, like I have mixed feelings about it, just because like. Coming up from the hood, just fireworks and gunshots, you know, like right. And so I'm always on edge around fireworks, you know. So 4th of July come around and you're like, you have like,
you don't know what it is. You're like, oh.
Right. You know, you got to hear, you got to listen to it. But like, you know, like how close to the sounds is a ta-da?
Or if you hear
that ta-ta, you know, like not even a chew, because that you know, but it's like the black cats, you know, is it a ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, or is it a ta-ta? You know, like you like when you hear the, you know, the back to back, the staccato of it, that like lets you know where it is. Also, being from the ghetto, it's one of the holidays where Black people fight the most. And so, like, it's also like, yes, girl.
I heard that a lot in Chicago, even though I like,
it's a holiday where Black folks fight the most amongst each other, because one, you get the liquor flowing, and you get the spades, you get the dominoes, you get the other shit talking coming out, and with the liquor, like people start fighting like quite often. I mean, like. My mom don't listen, so I can say this story. But I've literally seen my mom punch someone through a car window and drag them out the car window.
Oh my God.
Okay.
I was not ready.
Okay.
No.
And like
not mother.
And for real. When I tell you, Mama Rhonda is saved and sanctified now. Okay. She is saved. Blessed, anointed now. But prior to this, drag him out the car. It was him out the car window.
Oh my!
And him up on the streets as my stepfather, and uncle sat on the porch and just watched.
Oh my goodness!
So when y'all wonder, oh, is Auntie Hennessy really this crazy? Yes, Auntie Hennessy is really the craziest in her DNA. Okay. From my mama.
Get it from my mama.
MG.
Hey, yes, like the holidays has always been. It's been that. Outside of that, the only time the holidays have been great is when I go to my dad's side of the family, which is like the Cosby side, you know. And my grandma is like the matriarch of the family, and so she always have everyone over at her place, you know. Yeah. So it's like one or the other. Like I remember 4th of July. 2018, it was 2019 was the first time I drank with my family, because it was my first time being 21 with my family. You know, like so, like it's so I don't know.
It's a
like,
mixed
bag. I really don't. Yeah, it's a mix of bad and good.
Yeah, fireworks. Like growing up, we used to go to Bay City, Michigan, because they had the best fireworks, better than Saginaw, better than Midland, better than Flint, and then Detroit was just 2 hours. So we're like, okay, we're not gonna go 2 hours for the fireworks. So Bay City, Michigan always had the best fireworks, and we would like beg to go see the fireworks. And they would do it multiple days in a row, but there was always one day that was like the best one. So like you're like looking in a newspaper then. Obviously the internet wasn't what it is now. Looking in the newspaper to see which day was the long fireworks.
Okay.
Because there was either like 45 minutes to an hour was the long one, and then other days it was maybe like 15, 20 minutes. So that's like growing up, kind of like childhood. Like my memories, and then just as you get older, it always seems like 4th of July I was somewhere, whether it be Chicago, or like 2 years ago, we were in Europe actually for 4th of July.
When you got engaged.
When they got engaged, yeah. Last year, I think we went to like East Atlanta Village because we had just gotten. I'm about to sound bougie as hell. Like I was about to say because we just got back from Hawaii. Like,
but y'all were on the trip
we
though.
That was for Corey's like big
that was
birthday
a trip. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but like it just seems like every year there's something around 4th of July that like sparks this crazy memory, which I enjoy.
What was like thinking back when you were a kid? What was like your favorite like kid fireworks thing? Like I wrote down like sparklers, snaps. Remember the little piece of paper you throw them in the ground there. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then the little snake,
the
snake pills, the little snake pills that were like little black ones.
And
you burn it.
Oh, I don't know.
And then just firecrackers. Like, what was your favorite? Like,
I think mine was
you had your
sparklers.
choice.
Mine was sparklers. I was good, bitch. Let me tell you, when I was like fucking Disney Channel, bitch, or watching That's So Raven.
She tied a roll of toilet paper to her end stick after all the fire broke out and made it one of those twirls.
Look, bitch. Look, you know she lit one and had like 5 at the same time, so it caught on fire, so it lasts longer, bitch.
Right,
making the Disney symbol and everything.
We never bought a lot of fireworks.
Yeah.
Was that because you were a PK, a preacher's kid, or?
I don't know. No, I think about it. It was probably just because my mom didn't like it.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
because we didn't buy like the big fireworks, but like we always, every single year, we always had like, we always had all of those. We had like the sparklers, we had the little snake things, and we had the little snaps, and then we had firecrackers.
It was just probably simply my mom didn't like them, so we ain't get them. She's like, y'all don't need that. So what I
love the little snake things. I don't know what, like it was so satisfying to see them burn and like see like the little like black snake kind of like sizzle out or whatever.
Funny.
I love that.
Yeah, no, we didn't. Was there a food then that you didn't eat that now you would eat? Like from
potato salad? I don't know why as a kid
I
didn't like
everything.
Potato salad. Yeah. I did not like potato salad for some reason.
I love potato salad.
I love potato salad. I could eat a
whole meal of potato salad.
But I don't like the French onion potato salad. I don't like the white people tails. I'm like, no. I need like the deviled egg potato salads. That's the kind that I like.
With like chunks of celery and like really get chunks of like egg and you know the potatoes that you bite into it and it's you see the white part of it because it's like the mayo and the mustard.
Yeah, that was me. And also I love me some watermelon too. Watermelon like around the 4th of July. I don't know what it is, but it's like the time stamp. It's the time stamp of the year. Like I have watermelon and I'm like, summer.
That's good.
Like,
so question,
that's where I'm at.
What did you do with your seeds? Did you spit them out or spit them in your hand? Because that's two camps. You just spit them out?
Oh, you put them in your hand? You spit them in your hand?
Yeah. Well,
why? What you gonna do with it?
Right.
You know, she's Chardonnay.
That's Chardonnay. That's nasty.
That's
no,
nasty.
I mean you put
that's
it in your
line between being a freak and being nasty, right?
That's not it.
All that saliva and COVID in your hand.
Right?
You put it in your hand so you can throw it out responsibly. We didn't just spit stuff everywhere.
Like sunfire. Oh wait, sunfire seeds.
Uncivilized. No. No, that is so uncivilized.
And spitting in your hand is civilized.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
All that saliva as opposed in your hand. And then where you gonna wash your hand at?
It would actually either be my hand or a cup. Like one of the little Dixie cups.
A cup a little better.
Okay.
It'll be one of those, but we would never do it on just on the ground.
Oh yeah.
No.
But now it's so.
I remember that lie. I remember that lie that you said that your like older cousins used to tell you about, like if you swallowed a pumpkin, watermelon sweet seed, that it would grow. It would grow in your stomach.
But isn't it weird how it's so hard to find watermelons with black seeds anymore? We got one last week. And we cut into it. We're like, whoa, we haven't seen that in forever. Like, it's so genetically modified at this point that it's hard to find.
And the watermelons that we have now don't have the flavor that real watermelon.
I hate to admit it, but I am the genetic modified. I don't like the seeds.
Oh, the seeds
I
suck.
was always a kid.
Yeah, they do. But I mean, you get the flavor.
But the flavor is completely
it's different.
It's completely different.
You gotta come down to Atlanta though. Like there's still some little like mom and pop places.
I'm telling you, the watermelon up here is trash.
There's not enough black folks or people of color up here. I might have to go to Eastern Washington and get some good stuff.
Watermelon. The peaches are good down here right now.
Peaches and cream.
But here's the thing.
I don't need 112.
Georgia really isn't like that much bigger of a peach state than a lot of places in the South. It was a misinterpretation of a word. It was like actually one like the pine trees down here, and they thought they were saying peach, but they were saying something else, and I forget the name of the tree right now. And then just over time, it's become the peach state.
Oh wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. But the peaches are down here are good. They do.
I just thought that because y'all had cakes.
Cake. Nom. Sit on my face.
That needs to be a remix. Okay, can we talk about that? Needs to be the MinoriTea song right there. Like that before 2020 is up. Like we gonna go on YouTube. We gonna learn how to write some lyrics. We already got the producer over here. We got the beats.
Turn that into we'll get DJ Sway God or whatever.
Oh my God. But yeah, no, that's summer 2020. Yeah, I mean, we'll see how it goes.
We'll see.
But I mean, the only thing I care about in July is July 31st. Because that visual album from Beyonce on Disney Plus on July 31st.
Yes. I was like, where is this going?
I was like,
I don't care about July 4th. Beyonce stole that. That's why she did it. Because she said, fuck July 4th. They don't give a fuck about us. So Beyonce said, I'm gonna take all of July celebrations and focus it on the 30th. But
the only bad thing about, not bad thing, because it's Beyonce, it can't be bad. The only thing is Disney Plus, so there ain't gonna be a lot of cussing, and there ain't gonna be a lot of overly sexualized gyrations that I love from Beyonce. And it's the visual album for the Gift album from last summer, The Lion King. So that's what it is.
Yeah. So
we'll
still catch our lives.
Like a week later,
we'll still catch our lives.
Psych, here's some new shit.
And that's the thing.
Let me tell you, she will.
Because it was interesting that they announced this now. So that just it's gonna throw everybody off for what you really got cooking.
I hope so.
Yeah.
I know Beyonce is gonna be like, I made this deal with Disney, but here's a fucking loophole, and I'm gonna release this on the Apple. She gonna do it. She gonna be like, here is the unedited version, and then she gonna release on Tidal or something else. Now here's the shit that I wanted to do.
Here's the shit I really wanted to do.
She gonna do it.
Slimming down again.
She is. Honestly, yes.
She wasn't
really
a big person, but I was like, oh, she might be trying to get the body extra right again.
She giving us very Lemonade. She giving us very Solange last album. It's gonna visually. This is gonna be stunning. It's gonna be black as fuck. Yeah, it's gonna be everything. I cannot wait.
That people are that she's not the pop star anymore, even though she is. But it's not the crazy of love. She's coming out with black parades now. And
I just
so here for it.
Right, and I love the fact, and first, especially Black Parade, was such an upbeat, positive black song.
Right,
it's a great song. And it's funny because people are like, oh, I don't feel like I could dance to it. It's not about dancing to it. There's a message behind the song. You gotta listen to
people of the world today. Now we can
hey,
we are a part of a rhythm nation.
Let me tell you, she does such a great. She gave us Janet though, but she really did just give us
a message,
a message in your face, and it's just it's not what you want, but it's what I needed to say type song.
And it's what the culture
and that's
needed.
what I love about it. Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
If you ain't part of the culture, you better get part in it. You better hop in, double dutch in, because if not, I don't care. This is what my people need right now, and I'm gonna say it. Who else gonna say it? Nobody else? Okay, I got this shit. Come on. And I'm here. I'm so here for it. I'm
just gonna say between that and Hamilton coming out on July 3rd.
July's wrapping up. We're in the second half of the year.
Yeah, we're in the second half. Disney Plus is working for their coins. I'm just saying they're working for their coins.
Not really for me. I watched The Mandalorian, and that was about it.
No, but
they have it.
The Mandalorian.
That was
Well, I mean, I like that
it.
kind of stuff. I like it kind of stuff. They did have a short. It was an 8-minute digital short. I think it was called like Out or something like that.
Yes,
it was about an interracial gay couple, not black and white, but it was like Latino, Latinx and white, and about coming out, which was really, really good. But the rest of the stuff, it's literally like all Disney movies.
Yeah.
No, it's not all Disney movies. Unfortunately, I have to, because I'll be on Disney Plus, so I'm gonna let you know. There are actually like some actually good TV shows they're making that are actually very POC, pro POC, and also two very LGBTQ plus. Like for instance, what's the show with the young girl? She's like. It's a kids show, but she eventually becomes the new president.
That's so right.
But it's about no. She becomes that's Raven's Home, which is actually really good too. But it's like it's about her childhood before she becomes the president. She's a young Latino woman. She becomes like the first Latin like president of the United States. Like it's actually really good. And they have actually a couple of other shows that are about inclusiveness too, that they are actually deciding to get away from like a lot of the previous Disney stuff where it's like very black and white. Yeah. Like, but the thing is though, and a little bit to what Dewan was saying, it is geared towards more to the younger generation. I will say that, yes. But here's the thing. I don't knock that, because if Disney is telling the young generation, teaching the young generation to give a fuck about inclusiveness and diversity at a young age, which is what they were not doing 40 fucking years ago, I will take that easily, because Disney was really behind a lot of whitewashing and racist as fuck before. So I love seeing the growth and the fact that they are actually making these movies, because you wouldn't have seen something pro-black from Disney like Beyonce 5 years ago. You would have never seen something like that, you know.
I'll stick with the Hulu side of Disney.
So I mean, it's one of those cute things, like if you like have nieces and nephews, etc., like that, like give it to them, because it's a good way to make sure that our kids and our youth are growing up with more positivity than anything else. So that's the main reason why I got it. But I watch those shows with them, with my nieces and nephews, because they all children still. Right. You know, so that's the only reason why I can speak on that.
I might have to get somebody's password. We'll see.
You can have mine.
I got you.
Because I'm not using it.
Look.
I have it because I don't use it.
I got 8 people on mine. That's how good, but I mean like 8 grown ass families with also kids and then those families, like for real. Like
it's like all I want to see
some
is
good
Hamilton
stuff on there.
and Beyonce, and then after that I'm done with Disney Plus. No, at least for now. Like I haven't been home to see my new niece yet, which sucks. So like if I go home for Christmas and stuff, then I maybe just to sit around and watch cartoons with them. But anyway, I don't know. But second half of the year. Hopefully it's
we made it, y'all.
First half of the year.
We made it.
Hang in
barely.
There.
Barely. But you know who did make it, though? That soccer team from Texas.
There we go.
They didn't make it. Hey. And I'm okay with that. I'm glad. I really hope that more professional teams take note of that women's soccer team that quit because of the pro-Trump racist tweets that the owner's wife tweeted saying, Trump, this is standing for the flag, etc. Like,
you ain't gonna do it today.
Understanding that your life is more, right. Remember, y'all, your life is more than your paycheck. I don't care how much money you make. The value of your life will always succeed how much you get paid, period. Don't ever put a price tag on your life.
Say that again. But community, hang in there. We're hanging in there too.
We got y'all.
We got y'all.
We got y'all.
Wait, is that like Issa Rae? We got y'all.
That's Issa Rae, yes.
Insecure. We got y'all.
Remember to wash your hands, your legs, and your ass, especially swampy ass in the summer. because that's nasty.
Nasty. That's nasty.
Yeah,
That's
nasty.
nasty.
And I guess we'll see you next week. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Have a good one, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Yes.